Day 1. Driving into a town, Lee Abbott stops at a supermarket to buy oranges. We can notice rocket space toys at the shop. The store owner is watching the news when it reports on an incredible bomb in China. Lee then makes his way across the neighborhood to a park where his wife Evelyn is pushing their youngest child, Bo, onto a swing. The Abbott family is there to watch Marcus, the oldest son, play baseball. Lee greets his friend Emmett, who is seated behind them with his youngest kid, as he sits next to Reagan, his eldest and only deaf daughter. The ball is batted by Emmett's oldest son, who hits a home run. The audience and Emmett are yelling "dive" as he approaches the final base because the fielders are nearby. Emmett then asks Reagan how to say "dive," to which she responds in American Sign Language by making a diving motion with her hands. As Marcus steps up to the plate, Bo and Evelyn wish him luck. Marcus misses the opening 2 balls before becoming preoccupied by a big meteor in the sky. The game ends, and everyone starts driving or walking back to their houses. Evelyn takes the boys while Reagan travels with her father. However, the aliens have already arrived and have begun attacking the city, killing numerous humans. Day 474. The action of a quiet place. 1 is cut to the Abbott family leaving their home in bare feet. By this time, days 472, 473, Lee has died defending Marcus and Reagan from an alien. The house is ablaze and flooding, and Evelyn has just killed several aliens with the aid of Reagan's cochlear implant feedback noise amplified by a speaker that weakens the aliens. At the start of A Quiet Place 1, Bo took a space rocket toy from the store. The sound of the item attracted an alien who immediately attacked. Bo perished on day 89 as a result. Evelyn tells Marcus and Reagan to stay there as she sneaks back into the flooded cellar and attempts to keep quiet as she swims in search of an oxygen tank just before leaving the farm. Reagan leaves Marcus with the infant while announcing that she is returning to the house. The microphone and amplifier are collected by Reagan. She removes a cord from the amplifier with her clipper. Returning separately, Reagan and Evelyn follow the family's sand path until they reach the furthest point, whereupon they silently step onto the dried leaves and continue their journey. The baby is being carried by Evelyn and Reagan in a trunk that has been soundproofed with blankets, and an oxygen tank is feeding a baby breathing mask so that the lid of the trunk can be closed. The family arrives at a wire fence that has a gap in it. As Evelyn passes through, her bag gets hooked, making a little noise. She looks back, worried about the noise, and unintentionally trips a tripwire, causing a stack of bottles to collapse and jangle. Marcus and Reagan hear Evelyn mutter, "Run," to them. While this is happening, we change viewpoint to look at the family from a gun's fixed point of aim. The family is being pursued by an alien. Marcus is injured by a bear trap while running, which he manages in silence until he notices his hurt foot and lets out a savage scream. Reagan utilizes the amplifier, microphone, and cochlear implant hearing aid to create feedback that is intolerable to the alien, while Evelyn tries to stop him from screaming. As the alien tries to block out the sound, Evelyn shoots it in the head. The family enters a nearby abandoned structure. A man grabs Evelyn as they turn a corner, covers her mouth, and signals "shh" while pointing to an alien on the ceiling. The man guides the family into an underground soundproof vault. A towel placed over the vault's latch dampens noise and prevents the latch from internally locking the door. After setting the stopwatch's timer, he opens the door to let some fresh air in. When he is secure, he informs the family that they must go because there is not enough food or water. Evelyn asks, "Emmett?" thinking she remembers the man, and Emmett removes his baseball cap and scarf to reveal his face. He reiterates that they must leave. When Evelyn inquires about Emmett's children, he replies that his sons passed away on day 1. Evelyn inquires about his wife, Lola. He tells that Lola passed away 11 weeks ago, that she fell ill, and that they moved to this abandoned warehouse's soundproof basement once the pain became intolerable and she started screaming. "I couldn't do enough," declares Emmett. Evelyn queries whether Emmett would see the fires that Lee set each evening and whether he knew it was him, Lee. As per Emmett, he did. Evelyn queries why he did not pursue them given that they were buddies. In a quiet place, one the Abbott family had not had any communication from anyone and heard no radio transmissions despite searching and looking, very few survivors were left on Earth. The people who have left, according to Emmett, you don't know, do you? They're not people worth saving. You're nothing like him, Lee, Reagan signs. After having his ankle brutally dressed in the vault to drown out his screams, Reagan approaches to her brother, who is lying down to rest. Marcus receives headphones from Reagan, who then plays radio white noise while navigating the frequencies. Marcus sits bolt upright when he hears music out of the blue. Evelyn moves quickly toward Reagan as she stops changing the dial. Evelyn hears Marcus say, "Music," in a whisper. She looks to Emmett in shock as he replies, "Yes, it's just the song Across the Sea on a loop. That's all it ever does." When informing her mother that Dad would have heard it, he would have told us, Reagan makes it clear that Dad is lying. Emmett tells that he and Lola just learned about that signal after they moved up here because you can't hear it down in the valley, where the Abbotts lived. Reagan determines that the signal comes from a nearby island that is roughly a day's walk away. Marcus is awakened by her in the middle of the night, and they both walk to the soundproof vault to chat. By following railroad tracks to the ocean and then locating a boat, Reagan tries to persuade Marcus to assist her in finding a way to the radio tower. In order to send the high-frequency noise her hearing aid makes, which reveals weak points on the aliens, she needs to go to the station. This is a big step towards a better way of life because anyone, including the family, can use a radio to play the high-pitched noise and defend themselves from the aliens. Marcus is anxious and opposes Reagan's departure. Because that's what her father would have done, Reagan insisted she had to try. Marcus, threatening to notify Mum, Evelyn, forces Reagan to go out on her own extremely early in the morning. She leaves a keep listening message on the radio. After learning that Reagan left in the morning, Evelyn begs Emmett to find her and bring her back. He finally concedes when Evelyn says she wishes Lee were here to tell him Reagan is precisely the kind of person who is worth preserving. Reagan, who is in the meantime, comes across a train station with a wrecked train and boards the front carriage, the only one that is still on the track, of the train. There are numerous skeletons and dead bodies. She searches the driver's booth for a first aid kit since she needs one, but she has trouble opening the door. When she finally gets to the box and picks it up, the dead driver's bones fall on her, startling her and making her scream. Reagan is stranded trying to control the shotgun with one hand while holding the hearing aid to the microphone with the other as an extraterrestrial soon comes. Fortunately, Emmett shows there and kills the monster. They hide in the station office nearby out of concern that the disturbance will have drawn more aliens. Emmett says his purpose in being there is to take her home. Reagan laments, "What home?" and is not pleased. When Emmett's wife passed away, Reagan says there was nothing he could do before, but now there is. She goes on to outline her plan. Emmett resolves to assist her in finishing the task. Evelyn is forced to leave Marcus and the infant so that she can return to Emmett's base with the materials they need. Medicine for Marcus's foot, and additional oxygen tanks for the infant for when the infant is in the trunk. Marcus is frightened and opposes her leaving. He'll lose him too, Evelyn says, and his foot will get worse. Marcus accepts her and allows her to leave. Following the path she and her family take to get to the store where Lee purchased oranges on day 1, she returns to the sand path and makes her way there. She passes the bridge where Bo died and a temporary shrine on her way there. She sobbed as she stroked the images and set her wedding ring atop the cross. Marcus leaves the bunker and wanders around the base after putting the baby to sleep. The baby's oxygen tank is shown in the cut, with the baby's oxygen level gauge in the red since it is getting low. Marcus discovers a room upstairs that is plastered in drawings of Emmett's sons. He discovers a dead person, likely Lola, lying in a bed behind some drapes dividing a portion of the room. He is startled by this and accidentally knocks over a few things, letting an extraterrestrial nearby know where he is. He dashes back to the basement, retrieves the infant, and places him in the vault before running back outside to collect the radio and stopwatch. As the alien nears, he is then able to run into the vault and shut the door. Unbeknownst to Marcus, the towel is not covering the door latch, and the door locks shut. By dusk, Emmett and Reagan have arrived at some docks and are searching for a boat that will take them to the island. At the end of the pontoon, they discover a young girl. When Emmett approaches her, she unexpectedly encircles him in a noose. A group of feral individuals show up, encircle Emmett with bottles and netting, and start looking through Reagan for supplies. They take her hearing aid and bag and escort it away. Emmett signals dive to Reagan before wriggling through the netting and grabbing the man who stole Reagan's hearing aid. A number of aliens show up and attack the docks, killing several savages. Due to the commotion of the bottles, an extraterrestrial attacks while Emmett is still holding the victim. The feral man is slain by the alien after Emmett dives into the ocean. When the alien hears Emmett swimming in the water, it jumps after him, but is unsuccessful because it is unable to swim. While still bound to the dock, Emmett tries to free himself from the rope around his neck. Reagan extends his hand to the man in the small boat as it passes. He boards the vehicle and pops his mouth open to display Reagan's hearing aid. As their boat approaches the island, we watch them take the noose off. An alien is stuck on top of a boat that has disconnected from the docks in the corner of the screen due to the commotion. Marcus, who is having trouble breathing, realizes from his watch that he must open the door. He tries with the door for a while before giving up in frustration. When he unlocks the baby's trunk, he hears the infant crying. He begins sharing oxygen with the infant while displaying a hurt expression till he nods out. An alien is crying out loud as Evelyn arrives to the compound with the supplies. She fires an oxygen tank at the alien in an attempt to blow it up, but the alien escapes unharmed. The fire sprinklers are, however, activated by the blast. Evelyn can avoid the alien and find her way back to the basement with the help of the sprinklers' sounds. She is pursued by the extraterrestrial, nevertheless. Marcus, the child, and Evelyn shelter within the bunker while the alien waits for them outside. When Reagan and Emmett get at the island, they discover a colony of residents who have isolated themselves there and are leading regular lives. The National Guard ordered as many people as possible to be stationed on the islands after it was discovered that the animals couldn't swim. However, one of the creatures makes it to the island on a different boat and murders a number of people. The creature follows them inside the radio station when they entice it to flee to that location. Once it hears Reagan and Emmett, the alien slashes Emmett with its claws. But as it pursues Reagan, she manages to switch the station's sound from the song to the noise her hearing aid made, weakening the creature until she can kill it with a pole. Marcus, who has picked up the signal over the radio, utilizes the noise to weaken the creature and kills it with a shot, making it possible for anybody listening to the broadcast to do so. Please subscribe for more and hit the notification button.